We've only been married for a year and a half. We're flat broke. I work 3 times a week, and I'm lucky to get that. I guess you don't know what it means to have nothing to come home to but fried liver. And maybe a Kino movie. Is there some law against trying to get some fun out of life? You settle down soon enough. Ellen and I wanted to travel. That was our dream. We wanted to rub shoulders with everybody else in the world. Well, you just can't do that with a kid strapped to your back. We'd saved up about $200. And then surprise, Ellen was pregnant. So I told her that, okay, so you're pregnant. It's not the end of the world. We can do something about it. But she wouldn't. I guess that sounds awful selfish to you, but let me tell you something. I got a little bomb in my pocket. It's a time bomb. It's called a draft card. This one's got 1A on it. If I've got any living to do, I got to do it right now. I haven't got time to be unselfish.
You are lucky the baby died.
I was sitting in that hospital waiting room. All the rest of those expectant fathers pacing up and down, jumping out of their skins every time a nurse went by. A bunch of boobs. And all of a sudden, a kid started to yell, and I thought, hey, that must be my kid. Well, it wasn't, but the funniest feeling came over me. All right, I know I don't fit into the pattern. I mean, I'm not crazy about hot dogs, and I don't go out bowling with the boys, and I never went over and felt every time the baby moved. I didn't go out rushing out in the middle of the night to buy Ellen pickles and ice cream. But sitting there in that waiting room, I began to realize that whatever was going to be born would live and breathe and grow up and be a part of the world just because Ellen and I love each other. Did you ever get into Portersville very much? If you wanted to see a really beautiful girl, you could go into the National Bank. She was a blonde secretary behind the desk in the escrow department. There's an expression on her face. It's a look in her eyes. Like just being alive is something so red hot and special it should be in all the headlines. Sometimes I used to just go in there and look at her and say, baby. Well, I guess I catch on slow. But sitting there in that hospital waiting room, it really began to hit me what this child really meant. The flesh and blood proof of what Ellen and I really were to each other. And all of a sudden this feeling came over me. And it made all the cities and the mountains and the trains and countries seem like nothing. So then when they came and told me that the things weren't going very well in the operating room, delivery room. Well, they got a chapel in the hospital. Maybe I should have gone down there to pray, but I went to the men's room and cried. And then I told myself that everything was going to be absolutely sure of it. And just for good luck and to show my confidence, I guess I got some of these things in the lobby. And then I went upstairs, and that's when they were wheeling her out. And that's when she said it to me. This is your lucky day, the baby died. We could live together for 50 years. She'll never think I wanted that baby. And it'll ruin everything.
I do believe you. Am I so different? Am I so changed?
Who are you?
Look, I called Dr. Mason an hour ago. Yes, of course I'm sure. Yes, of course I am. Well, he couldn't have lived then. It's only 20 minutes drive. I am controlling myself. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Dr. Mason, I'm not imagining things. It's not like before. You see, I called you, and you're here, and he was here the way he was. He was here. I'm not drunk.
Ellen, I made a stupid mistake. I put your records in the inactive file.
I didn't open that bottle.
I suppose he did then.
He did. Please believe me, he was here.
I was where, Ellen?
He was in a burning car, that's where he was. And by extremely good luck, I saw him as I came up to see you.
Are you all right?
I was out cold for a while, but I'm all right now.
Ellen, how did it start this time?
You hand these out and they slap you on the back and say, "Congratulations, Dad. It's a boy, it's a boy."
Well, she couldn't have had much to drink. The bottle's almost full.
She's not drunk.
Well, then what is she?
Good night, Doctor.
Harry, I think I know Ellen's problems a little better than you do.
Do you?
Ellen, I'm going to leave some of these for you, and you can take them if you need them. You know how. You've had them before, and I'll call you in the morning. And, I think a couple of these might help you. Good night.
Ellen, what happened here tonight?
You wouldn't believe me.
Try me.
Oh, Harry.
He believed her. He had to. Well, was it all a delusion? It's a boy. Now, that certainly was not a delusion. Then what happened to Ellen Grayson? Was it an hallucination? Was it an accident in time? Or did the unconscious Harry Grayson will himself back to the man he was to convince Ellen of his love? What you've just seen is not so uncommon as you might think in the annals of psychic experience. Man has just begun to probe the world beyond his cage of reality. In that constant and marvelous and eternal world of the now. Who knows what he'll find?